Hello, Dr. Karen here. Welcome to the Spiritual Medicine Digest for this week. And the topic is lung support. So, we're going to be doing a 𝗟𝗏𝗚𝗡 healing activation in a little bit to help support your lungs energetically. When I was asking Source about the topic for this week, what I got was something that I cannot say. Not exactly. I already have two on YouTube and prefer not to have a third because I'd prefer to be able to communicate with you, and others who may be looking for this kind of education, this kind of information. So I'm going to be relatively careful about what I'm saying for now. And I know you're thinking, Dr. Karen, seriously? Why are you self censoring? Yeah, well, this is what we've come to, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, although I do have faith that everything has a reason, and that reason is there to serve us. So for now, yes, there is some self-censoring going on, but that's one of the reasons why I have the light medicine community. And I'll put that link lower down somewhere. So the light medicine community is on Circle, and for now, it's kind of like our home away from home. I really, really enjoyed our Facebook groups, and I still have a Facebook group, but I'm less active there because I have to self-censor. And same thing on this particular platform on YouTube. However, in the light medicine community, what's really great is that we have a growing community of thousands of people who are looking for spiritual information, who are looking for spiritual growth, and are talking about some topics that are pretty not popular sometimes and not necessarily conspiratorial. It literally is stuff that people don't talk about, like multiple souls and about parallel lives, past lives, dimensional lives, aliens, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're if you're into that and you're not in the light medicine community, you're really missing out. So definitely join us there. So lung support. Okay, how do I start? I got to be honest. When Source told me what the topic was for this week, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Ah, I was like, okay, here we go. All right. So as of today, so this is December 2023. It is the winter months, and we do more or less expect. Not me personally, but in general, people expect people to have cough, colds, and all sorts of types of sicknesses during the winter months. That being said, in the year during the sea, I think people maybe did not want to show those symptoms at all. So I didn't see as many, probably because we were locked up in our houses. Anyway, um, yeah. So traditionally during the winter months, there would be these symptoms. In Chinese medicine, they talk about pernicious influences. And that was very strange to me as a Western trained medical doctor. What is this excess cold? What is this excess wind and damp and dry heat and dryness, and like it was just kind of weird. Um, but I've come to really respect it, to be honest, after being trained in acupuncture. You see, because the germ theory, Louis Pasteur, was counter to another much less popular theory at that time by Pierre-Antoine Beauchamp, another French guy, who talked about the terrain. He said basically the terrain is everything. The germs are not the cause of disease. It's the person and their terrain, like how healthy are they? How healthy are their tissues? How healthy is their immune system? And he proved it. I'm not going to go into that right today. Anyway, supposedly on Louis Pasteur's deathbed, he said Antoine was right. But we have built a whole society based on the germ theory. And you can look up some of the books, and we do have a podcast coming up in January that talks about goodbye germ theory. So more on that in January. But anyway, so currently, the winter 2023 December, we are seeing an uptick, sorry, of a labeled disease that affects the lungs, that is putting adults and children in the hospital and supposedly killing them. Now, the childhood version of this, traditionally, when I was in medical school and also through my years of practice in medicine. We'd call it croup, and be caused by a particular virus that starts with an R and ends with a V. And there were some kids, especially those with asthma or who were immune compromised, that did have more difficult times during the winter. Um, they might have had, frequent ear infections, they might have had asthma, a history of allergies, that kind of thing. Now we know that's like completely preventable for the most part, but back then I didn't know too much, so didn't understand excess damp and all that. So they would have, this croupy cough, and at times they would need to be hospitalized because they looked like they were struggling to breathe. And I do remember what that looked like in these toddlers, these young children. It was really hard. They were in the hospital. They were put in a tent. Yes, kind of like a clear plastic tent, kind of like the boy in the bubble, but it's not a bubble; it's a tent. And a lot of oxygen was infused in there, and they got better. Not the funnest time, I'm sure, but they got better. It was very rare, at least when I was in medical school, to see a child die. Sometimes, it'd be kind of scary, but I personally never saw a child die. Now, what I didn't see either was adults with this particular diagnosis. We just, I theoretically, yes, they could get the same virus, but I didn't really see many in the office, and certainly none in hospital, at least not on my watch. That being said, bacterial pneumonia, which in traditional conventional medicine we called pneumococcus, and that we absolutely did see, and that was really kind of obvious diagnosis because they'd literally be coughing up big gobs of green stuff, high spiking fevers, blah blah blah. And then there was mycoplasma, which we saw more in younger people, more like what we used to call yuppies, and teens, and they would have severe fatigue, cough, kind of mild to moderate, right? But not a lot of stuff coming up. It's the it's the intense fever that got us thinking maybe it was this mycoplasma. And then when we did the x-rays, they were very different from the bacterial pneumonia and the mycoplasma. So the bacterial pneumonia would have this blotch, this big cloudy blotch in one area of the lung. And then literally it's like kind of like a ball of pus. Okay. The people with mycoplasma would have basically a whiteout of their lungs. And yeah, like a mist, like a whiteout. And yes, they would have, sometimes struggle with breathing, but a lot of times they had the high fever and shortness of breath. They both could have shortness of breath. And they could have lowish fever. Mycoplasma could be lowish fever too, but basically they just felt like crap. Okay, but it was not as acute. It was kind of more like crept on. But this thing that the children went through that we are now seeing in both children and adults, like I said, rarely killed anyone way back when. And I've been in medicine for quite some time. I've graduated in 92, right? So, and now I was like, well, that's so strange. I don't really watch the news too much. Well, at all. But I do see things floating around sometimes on Facebook and things like that, and diagnoses and things like that. And, I saw whiffs of this virus being mentioned. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, childhood virus. That's what I'm thinking, based on my experience. Was not expecting adults, and definitely not expecting adults in hospital and not dying of it. No, no. So I'm like, what's going on here? Oh boy, down the rabbit hole we go. So I do look online, and sure enough, there's all these articles, recent articles, 2023, about this particular virus and, adults and getting sick and the high risk to the elderly. And I'm like, I never saw a single case in the elderly when I was in practice. Okay. Okay. Well, can they make up numbers? Possibly, possibly. I just never saw it. Right. And I live in Canada. Okay. It's kind of cold in Ottawa. Okay. It's not Florida. Right. So we would see a lot of upper respiratory stuff. But children, I did see, adults, not so much. And yeah, Nobody got sick enough to be in the hospital, at least. And sometimes we would say they had viral pneumonia, right? But oftentimes, care, fluids, rests. You can manage it at home, maybe a humidifier for some people like that. But yeah, they just didn't get that sick. So what's going on? What's going on? Well, you're just waiting for me to say it, right? Well, let's just say there's a toxic energy. Mm, yeah, it's kind of mimicking this particular V virus. And it's some of it is what we would call scalar. And some of you might go, wait, I thought scalar was good. Well, scalar energy is good or bad. It's not good or bad. It just there's variations on the theme. Like for example, source told me to give you this example. Okay, here we go. So for example, you have an opera singer who can hit that perfect pitch of the note C, right? And you have a glass, and when she hits that note of C and that glass is tuned to C, it starts to vibrate. Now, would you say that's good or bad? It just is. It just vibrates. Right? It's not good or bad. It just vibrates, right? But what happens if she turns up the amplitude, the volume of that note that she's singing? What happens? Vibrate, 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 right? Shatters. Now, supposedly, dolphins, when they are protecting their own and there's a potential hungry shark, although we've seen dolphins and shark coexist peacefully, but supposedly, when they're not, dolphins will come at the side of the shark like this. Okay, this is the shark. They go boop. And then, some of the marine biologists were like, it's actually not hitting the shark that hard, but the shark's dying. So they do autopsies. And I learned this from Dr. Jeffrey Thompson, by the way, in one of my programs and courses I took with him live and in person. The liver was shattered. Now, how do you think that happened? Because the dolphin did not hit the shark that hard. What do dolphins have? Sonar, right? That they're able to produce notes, for lack of a better term, notes, vibrations in their own physiology. And what could be healing, for example, dolphins love pregnant women, and they will go and they will literally like diagnose, the baby and the mom. And they, with their little sonar energy, they'll heal. So sweet. I love those guys. Anyway, they'll heal the mom, they'll heal the baby if necessary. Use the same physiology technology to kill a shark. Volume, amplitude, right? They know the frequency of that shark's liver and they beam out the same frequency so hard that it shatters. Now, I'm trying to explain in layman's terms how a scalar energy could be healthy or not healthy, depending on the amplitude. And yeah, maybe there's certain vibrations and frequencies that are not good for us. And does this exist? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like you would, maybe go to a place and be in a med bed and receive really beneficial energies, whether that be scalar or, electromagnetic energies. You could also be harmed by negative electromagnetic energies like 5G, 6G, 7G, etc. And or negative, meaning not good for you, scalar energies. So could this lung thing be related? Well, I'm getting a yes. Maybe not in all cases, but I'm getting a yes. It's related to some sort of scalar toxin, if you will. And some do believe that the so-called virus, which we have not been able to isolate as a particulate matter, and it's possibly more like an artifact, the electron microscope, that perhaps it's toxins all along. Well, we do know that some organisms, like bacteria and fungus, they do, and mold, they do excrete toxins. No question. You know, they do excrete toxins. That has been isolated. However, is it possible that there are some things that perhaps we have produced in the lab? Maybe, maybe that could have harmed people, that could have escaped. Maybe. But what's really curious, though, is the coincidence. Yes, I call people coincidence theorists sometimes. Is the coincidence that there was approved earlier this year for the virus that starts with an R and ends with a V, just in time for the winter season. I actually didn't know that. I had to look it up today. And when I looked it up, it was very interesting. I'm going to give you a quote. I'm going to actually go over here and pull this over so I can read it. This is a quote from John Kennedy, MD, president of the American Medical Group Association. American Medical Group Association. Huh. I don't even know what that is. Is that the same as the AMA? Well, somebody put in the comments. Let me know. AMGA. I've never been part of it, so I'm not really sure what the AMGA is. So, quote from him in this article, John Kennedy, MD, President, American Medical Group Association, added, for decades, the AMGA and the healthcare community at large, not really sure who they are, have been active in finding ways to increase adult immunizations. Let me read that again. For decades, the AMGA and the healthcare community at large have been active in finding ways to increase adult immunizations. Taken literally, that means that they've been looking for ways to jab more people, to increase the jab rate of people. I would think the healthcare community at large would have other endpoints that may be more important to us, maybe like increase the longevity of people, maybe prevent hospitalizations and death, perhaps teaching people to be healthier and how to have a healthier immune system by eating nutritious foods, clean water, rest, decrease stress, all the things that are scientifically uh, backed up to help people be healthier. But no, that's not the goal. At least not of the AMGA. Thought that was very curious. So yeah, so we have this interesting coincidence that there is this huge uptick in this virus and causing people to be in hospital, which, like I said, not that long ago. Well, I guess it is long ago because I'm that old. But anyway, didn't seem that long ago when I was practicing medicine that we just didn't see these things. So what can we do? This is where I come in. What can we do? There's no point in being upset. No point. It's just like, okay, what's the way forward, right? Well, here's the cool thing about toxins. I know you're like, Dr. Karen, you just said cool and toxins in the same sentence. Yeah, just hear me out. The cool thing about a toxin, whether it be scalar, physical, biological, electromagnetic, right? Everything is made of energy in our world. That's how our world works. So everything has a frequency, everything is made out of energy. I've come to find out through my studies in energy medicine, light medicine, and then TOLPAKAN healing method that there is a counteracting frequency to everything. Sometimes that's not good. For example, in TOLPAKAN healing, you could have the positive morphic field of joy, or you could have the negative morphic field of anti-joy that completely cancels out joy. I found these in people, right? And I'm like, this is really weird, right? But it happened over and over and over again. And sources like, yep. Okay, so this person can't feel joy because they have anti-joy in their bodies. Well, what would happen if we pulled that out? Whoa! They can feel something, and it feels like this is what joy feels like. Whoa, right? Amazing. So, back to toxins. Just like snake venom, there's anti-snake venom, right? There's an AntiToxin Energy. And the cool thing is you don't actually have to know the mathematics of it. No, you don't. Luckily, with TOLPAKAN Healing, and most people are attuned, including you, if you're watching this, most likely attuned, is that you can actually go into stillness, go into the quantum purposefully, and pull that frequency out. Cancel it. Can't say we're curing, treating, preventing, any disease or medical condition. What you're doing is you're doing an energetic harmonization, if you would like to put it that way. There are negative frequencies that you could cancel out of your bodies. That's the whole, a lot of healing methodologies do that very systematically, like the body code, TOLPAKAN Healing. We do that very systematically. And then there's other healing modalities and trainings where you deposit positive energies in. So that'd be like Anahata codes, balancing by numbers by Lloyd Meir, for example, and then TOLPAKAN Healing, right? So that's the really cool thing. And that's what I'd like to do right now. If you're willing and open, you can choose to receive. What I'd like to do is a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation. So the cool thing is it still works over video. It's like quantum time advantage, right? It doesn't matter when you're watching this video. And the other thing too with TOLPAKAN Healing, if it isn't for your highest and greatest good and or is not allowed for you because you have to figure out your own path and way, it's not going to happen, not going to help you. Sorry. I'm not in charge of that part. I'm just the messenger. And everyone who is permitted to have these beneficial frequencies or taking negative frequencies out, you just make the intention to receive. You go into stillness with me. I'll do a directive, right, just to show you how to do it. And you can do this for yourself in the future, for your loved ones, right, if they give permission. Then we'll go ahead and we'll first remove any toxin energies, right, that may be affecting your respiratory system. And then we'll deposit positive ones. And one in particular is the positive morphic field of oxygen or oxygenation. Now, Energy Tools International, who I work with, and they infuse my Ascension 3 jewelry, they actually have the frequency of oxygen. Yes, yes, the beneficial frequency of oxygen has been copied, and you can actually get it in a tincture. And I won't go into all the tech of how I podcast on that kind of thing, on how they do that, but it's really, really cool. So I had an instance where there was a doctor in India who was in dire straits in the ICU, not able to breathe, oxygen saturations going down to the 60s. It should be in the 90s. And his wife, had contacted me, and I didn't really know him. He was a follower of mine, a fan of mine, and she said, "Can I have a session? It's an emergency." So I just thought, well, let me just check in, see what's going on, right? And so while they were sleeping, because the time difference, right? I checked in, and he was missing the positive morphic field of oxygen. There was also a negative energy as well, electromagnetic energy, that was affecting him and a lot of people in India at the time. So what we did was we canceled the negative one and downloaded the positive one of oxygen to him. Now, I muscle tested before I did that and after, and his oxygen saturations went from 60s to the 90s. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see, right? I'm always like, I'm a medical doctor. I like proof. So I'm trying to get a hold of the wife the next day. And of course, time zone, blah, 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 right? It's a different. And finally get a hold of her because I'm like, I hope he didn't die, right? My monkey mind's like, hope he didn't die. Anyway, and she's like, oh, he's doing so much better. His oxygen saturations are now in the 90s. And I'm like, yes, this stuff works. So cool. Right. I didn't charge them. Took me like 5 minutes to do it, right? So anyway, well, I did ask for a testimonial. That was the payment, the testimonial. So then I didn't hear from her for 2 days. I'm like, telling me every day how he's doing, right? And so finally get a hold of her again, and she's like, "Oh, what? Oh, he's back to work." And I'm like, wait a second. He was in the ICU a few days ago. He's back to work. I'm missing something here. What happened? She goes, "Oh, he's not totally better, but he's back to work. And in fact, he's an anesthesiologist. He actually went back to work, saved the life of a baby girl because they had to do a crash C-section while he was on call. So he actually saved a life, which always makes me a little teary. Anyway, so we are going to do that positive morphic field of oxygen. Okay. All right. So let's get into the 0 point field together. Rub your hands really, really, really fast. Just get some heat and energy and chi going. Oh gosh, I got really hot, right? Already. Okay. Let me go take this off. All right, let's go. All right. Okay, relax. If it's safe for you to do so, close your eyes. Focus on your hands. Feel any energy pulsing, waves, movement. We're doing stillness through observing internal movement. Follow the flow wherever it goes. Perhaps it goes up your arm. Perhaps you notice it in your head or neck or chest or belly or legs. Wherever you feel it, follow that flow wherever it goes without judging it, without trying to change it. This is a non-judgmental practice. Okay. Continue focusing on where the energy goes while I do the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive. So just if you want to receive, just make the intention to receive now, whenever it is that you watch this video, okay? And focus on your feeling and focus and just notice if you notice a shift. You may or may not. I now command any negative morphic fields, negative EMF energies, scalar energies, energetic toxins or weapons, infection energies, be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated from you and all timelines where you exist with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. It's now commanded that the positive morphic field of oxygen and oxygenation be downloaded and activated with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way in all timelines where you exist, where relevant. Thank you. I'm going to do an Ascension 3 order, actually. Let me just grab my pyramid here. It's easier to see than my necklace. Okay, so Ascension 3, what I'd like you to do is for everyone watching this right now, if you're allowed, go ahead and send the energies of oxygen, right? And 24/7 singularity speed, which is super fast, instantaneous, evolve that positive morphic field of oxygen whenever there is an ascension upgrade and it is evolvable. So go ahead and do that for everyone. Thank you. Okay, so you can talk to your Ascension 3 tools. Okay, so there's that download. So let me just go into stillness for a moment and just ask if there's something else Source wants me to pull out. Download, yes. Okay. Download love. Okay. Any particular love? Yes. Big love, unconditional. Unconditional love. We can do that. Anything else? No. Okay. Unconditional love it is. Not sure how that pertains to love, lung support. But you know what? The in Chinese medicine, lung injury or lung weakness is grief. There's a lot of grief related to that. So if you're grieving, you're not processing that grief, that actually could make you susceptible and weaker to these sorts of toxins and things like that potentially are targeting your lungs or affecting your lungs. So let's go ahead and just in case there's some people that for whatever reason do not have the blueprint for healthy lungs, let's download that and let's download unconditional love. Well, we'll do it in the reverse order. Here we go. So again, focus on the body. Feel energy running in your body. I now command the positive morphic field of unconditional love be downloaded and activated in you and all versions of you in the highest and best way, all directions of time with speed, ease, and grace. It's now commanded that the positive morphic field of 100% perfectly functioning human lungs, radiantly healthy, that whole respiratory system, be downloaded and activated in you in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where you exist, where allowed, with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, take a breath in and out. Be here, be now, feel the body. Would love some comments below. Number one, have you heard about this RV virus? Number two, what did you feel in your body with the activation, right? With the oxygen download unconditional love, the pulling of the negative energies out. Really curious. Love to see what you personally experienced. Okay, so whew, I think I got through that pretty good, right, guys? Oh my goodness. It's tricky sometimes. Yes, it's tricky sometimes, especially on YouTube. And give YouTube a lot of love, okay? Yes. Even things that, things are not the way we would like, right? Even if they're censoring, cancel, whatever. Love it anyway. So I often will say I love technology. I love Facebook because I get to connect all these people. I love YouTube because I get to connect with all of you. I love Instagram, right? Just keep loving, 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 loving. Okay, so Monday's radio show, Light Warrior Radio Monday at 12 noon. I have the great pleasure of airing an episode with my dear, dear friend, Mara Leon. Now, I had a conversation with her one summer when she was visiting, and she was talking about when she was diagnosed with Graves' disease. And I'm thinking, okay, well, most people diagnosed with Graves' disease either, end up getting surgery or medication to kill their thyroid with radioactive iodine. And since she was really into natural health, I was like, what did you do? Well, she said, well, I divorced my doctor. And so I said, okay, I need this whole story, right? I need the whole story. So we had this little chat, and I thought, wow, some of the things that you talk about are so important for people to know, really connect with. So I asked her to be on the podcast, and she graciously said yes. So very, very excited to release this for you to get another perspective about things that us doctors tend to say that are incurable and that you must kill this, that, take it out, surgically remove, toxify, whatever. Okay. So we're going to hear her inspiring story and gain insights into her personal journey, like what her thought process, like what kinds of healing did she have to do on herself? Now it's not overnight, but it's pretty neat. What kind of tools did she use to get to that place where she felt so self-confident that she could really listen to her inner physician? I like to call it inner physician, right, rather than the outer physician. And how does inner peace have to do with any of this, especially self healing? So, if you're interested in that topic, I'll put the link below where you can watch or listen to that podcast interview on Monday at 12 noon. We'll air it then. Some upcoming events I want you to know about. Number one is if you are watching this on Friday, December 15th, 2023, in this case, you would have just one more day, well, more like 6 hours, to sign up for the Light Warrior Bootcamp 3.0. So this is the third iteration of the Light Warrior Bootcamp, one of my most popular programs of all time to help heal entities and negative ET interference, which are unfortunately more common than we at first think. And it's not about fear at all. It's about love and how we use TOLPAKAN healing, love, and honoring everyone's place in the world to heal these things. So I have some pretty sophisticated, in-depth protocols for each of these. In fact, there's a lot more content in 3.0 than there ever was in 1.0 and 2.0. Sources guided me to gift and give more. So this Light Warrior Bootcamp 3.0, we are recording it live, the modules 3 and 4 on Saturday, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you are so inclined, you're interested in this topic, and you want to get in on the live calls, because we will be doing some group healing together. And even if you miss it, it's fine, right? But the other reason to sign up now is currently we rolled the prices back to the 2020 prices, so it's $100 less. So $497 instead of $597, and there's a two-pay program as well. So if you're interested in this topic, want to really master entity ET clearing, handling, those kinds of things with my guidance and help and support, then definitely sign up for the Light Warrior Bootcamp 3.0 as soon as you can for the $100 off, and I will put that link near this video. The second announcement I had is that actually some beautiful healer friends of mine, we decided to get together and do a little mini workshop on healing with the elements. We're calling it Prosperity and Community Healing with the Elements. And that is going to be Sunday, December 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern. So you're going to hear from all three of us, Kathy Homeyer, Carrie Hummingbird, and myself. Kathy's an incredible healer. She's certified in so many modalities I've lost count. But she's one of the ones she mastered is nutritional energetics that she shares with the world. But like I said, she keeps learning. She's an incredible, incredible healer. And then Carrie Hummingbird, who is a medicine woman, inner medicine woman. And we're going to be talking about how to heal through the four elements. And we're actually going to give you some exercises to do. So this is not a sit back and, relax and just listen. No, no, no. This is actually a participatory workshop where we were going to go through the four elements of fire, air, earth, and water. And then you will have some stuff to do. Yes, you'll have some stuff to do. And then, yeah. So that is the workshop is through the light medicine community. So in order to get that specific Zoom link, you will need to go into the Light Medicine community, go into the LMC calendar, which stands for Light Medicine Community Calendar, okay, LMC calendar, and you will see that particular event. We'll put the link directly to the event here, but you can't get in unless you're an LMC member for various reasons. And then we have the Zoom link there for you. So I hope to see you on that Sunday for that very exciting workshop. I think it's going to be fantastic. And if you can't make it live, there will be a 1 week replay for it as well. Yeah, so that's it for this week. I got through that. I think I did okay. Well, we'll find out. We love you, YouTube. We love you, YouTube. We love you, YouTube. Okay, and thank you so much for joining me. Definitely hit subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel, and perhaps a notification bell if you'd like to be notified of all my new videos that come forward. And then please put in the comments, how'd you like this video? What did you learn from it? What did you feel? Give me some feedback for that. Love receiving your comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, big love to you. See you next week. Bye.